Alright guys, I wanted to show you a little bit about what goes on in this type of weather, especially with tracked equipment. So this whole winter, December, January, we didn't get a lot of snow, we got a lot of rain. So it would rain, and then it would freeze a little bit, and it would rain again. And then last week, we got 2 storms, pretty much back to back within, I don't know, 5 or 6 days of each other. Got almost 2 feet of snow, and it's been cold right now. It's been hovering during the days just below 30. But if you can think about the ground conditions now, and right now it's pretty windy and it's blowing snow right now, but think about the ground conditions. The ground is saturated, and you just tossed on top of it almost 2 feet of snow. And now the temperature's hovering right around freezing during the day. So this is what happens to the tracks on the tracked equipment. Because it won't get above freezing, you know, maybe around 40 degrees would be great. You could clean your tracks out. But because it's hovering right there, the ground is insulated by the snow. It's actually not frozen underneath, it's wet ground. So the chains and the tracks will pull up everything off the ground. Snow, mud, dirt, you name it. So I'm gonna give you a good look at what happens. So you look at my tracks, they're not level, are they? This whole side right here is all built up. Same thing with this side right here, right? You see that? It's all cocked like that. You see it all in here. It's all just built right up, and a huge hump right up in there. Building right up, stretching those tracks right out. And the reason it does that is because the ground is it's not frozen. It comes up, it's melting, and it hits this cold sink right here, right? This big heat sink, and it just freezes right off the bat. The whole tracks, everything right in there just freezes right up. Now I usually don't have much trouble with the tracks freezing, but this I'm gonna have trouble with. So I'm hoping that over the weekend we might be able to get that thing thawed off. We're gonna have to get the torpedo heater out. I'll have to bring the pressure washer out, and we're gonna have to get right into that. You can see it's building up on this side too, right? So we're gonna have to get right after that, because that's gonna blow the track right off. Spit that right off next week if I don't. Because we're finished here. We're packing stuff up. We pulled everything that was in the mud out of the mud. Both the slasher that I needed to hook a chain on the front of that, onto the truck, onto the front of the truck. I had to actually pull it with that and push with the skidder to get the slasher out, the big chipper out, and the debacker out. Neither one would come out just on their own. They were in the mud, and it wasn't frozen underneath, which was kind of crazy because it's been cold every night. But you know, that bark and chips just insulated it just enough right underneath there, and the residual heat coming off the ground kept it from freezing up. And plus, when I shoved it in there, it was muddy, so it just went right in. So that's what's going on there, guys. Hopefully you don't have to deal with that kind of problem right there. And but I'm sure I'm going to be battling that the whole rest of the time for this winter, because it's going to warm up again, like I said, and the ground's not frozen, and it's gonna get below freezing again for a bit, and you just can't keep up with it. No matter what you do, you just can't keep up with it, especially if it's below freezing during the day. You just pull it right up and it freezes right there, right immediately. So that's that. So I'll give you a quick look too. I'll show you. We got everything pulled out, set to the side. sitting on top here, and we're just gonna blade everything off. And we're ready to go to the next job. So here we go. That's what it's looking like now. Everything's been pushed off, cleaned up. It's all looking good. And that's how we like to leave it. Leave it looking good, no matter if you'll never come back again. Because if you don't, it'll follow you around like a bad penny, right? So, here we go. All right, guys, talk to you.